Unlock.com. It couldn't be a better day to go over to our man, Mr. Teddy Kekstadt, because we got these currencies moving. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys? We definitely have an interesting day to talk about the currencies. So when we left off last week, remember I said ride the dollar bull?
Yes.
And it seems like that worked out well. The dollar rallied up until early this morning for the most part. Now, the British pound turned around 2 days ago. Now, it's a very interesting thing. Remember when we talked last week, I said the S&P is probably, when it was hovering on those highs, it will probably get a little sell-off. So we had a sell-off into Monday. And this kind of coincides with what's going on with the currency market. Monday, the stock market turned around, and you started to see a dollar sell-off in the British pound, which is the second biggest component of the dollar index.
Right.
But the dollar index continued to go higher. So we have a little bit of a divergence going on here. And I think that this is going to be we're in a holiday market right now. So I would think that your listeners should be very leery of the moves that they're seeing right now, especially today and going into tomorrow, as far as the U.S. stock market is concerned and any market is concerned.
Oh, let me tell you, when the second I get off at 11 o'clock, man, I'm going to shot the heck out of this market, man. I love. I'm serious. I love what has happened with this dollar. I mean, because it went up to the swing point. The first time up was only a 0.38 to retracement of the deal. Mm-hmm. Went up there again, can't handle it. I mean, they're selling this down. And what I love, Teddy, is that they're selling gold down too. And the market's up. It's like, okay, man, gold hit highs today. It already has 180,000 contracts at a high. It's like, okay, man, I just like the setup, man. So.
That's what I'm getting at, is that I think that, right now you have the stock market that's made lower move lows, and now it's in a corrective rally right now. It's coming off of newer move lows. So are all the currencies versus the dollar. Now the euro has started to rally a little bit later this morning. The pound started 2 days ago, but most of your currencies are relatively neutral. Like the Swiss is going sideways. Okay. I don't know if it's the holidays or whatever, but we've been talking about that being basically a neutral going nowhere currency. The yen spiked high, the U.S. dollar spiked high against the yen early this morning, and it had a big sell-off. So now, since we have the pound that's been rallying and now the yen that's sold off, that's why I think you're getting this dollar index slide right now, because money is rotating out of the pound and the yen into obviously equities right now, And I think that you're going to have an interesting thing, because you mentioned the gold trade. Now, I'd like to ask you, I heard this from multiple sources that there was over $20 billion worth of Chinese collateralized gold loans that were collateralized by gold, and it turns out that the gold bars were all fugazis. So it was, I guess, copper that was plated with gold. And so now, if there's billions of that floating around out there on loans, if this really is the case, I think you're going to see a shakeup in the gold market as well as the currency market, because if you got a lot of fake gold out there, dollars are dollars, and it's all electronic, so they don't have to worry about that being counterfeited, So I don't know if this story is true, but I'm not trying,
I don't take a lot of, grain in it, really. And the reason is, so picture this, we're just a raindrop, right? And, we had an operation of buying and selling gold. And literally 30 seconds, right? I can't picture. So let's say we're doing a couple million a year, whatever that is, right? You're buying, the big guys are buying a fortune. That machine that we have, it was a $10,000 machine. But the bottom line, in 2 seconds, you find out if it's real gold or not. So, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, whoever got taken to the cleaners got taken, but evidently they're so I don't buy it. You know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. So let's see. Look at this. Look at this. We just gave up 9 points in the S&P. You must be selling the S&P right now, man.
Actually, I'm looking for the same thing later on today, because it's just, I think that, no matter what, the S&Ps have been making lower move lows, and they're heading into a lower move high right now. So unless they have an exacerbated rally, and I don't see that coming. I think that what we're getting right now is that for some reason we're getting a big show of strength in the British pound. So, and that might have something to do with what's going on with Boris Johnson and some of the things they're talking about with the no Brexit deal and blah, blah, blah. So I think that's probably where you're getting that stir. But that's a short-term short-term glitch. I don't see that as being any real strength. Like, I don't see the pound getting stronger versus the dollar in the long term right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
no,
and the euro,
I do.
The euro and the Swiss are going sideways.
Yeah, you know? I can totally understand that. And every time that I keep looking at the dollar, though, I'm saying to myself, okay, someone's selling the heck out of this thing, because that last dead cat bounce, you know, like I thought when it was coming up to that swing point again, Teddy, that it would actually take it out. It had every right to take it out. It was laying, if you saw this thing yesterday, folks, it's laying right at the highs, man. It's like it wouldn't, you know, bang. I mean, it could have taken it out. And it just went the opposite way, man. It's like, okay, you know, that's someone... You know, 300 ticks. Well, realistically, 300 ticks, Teddy, right, would be a lot of ticks in the market, right? I mean, you can't move currencies unless some of these big banks are going in there and there's big money, right? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
All right.
Now, we do have an interesting setup with the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, because those two have been rallying. You know, remember when they had the big currency shake-up in March? Those currencies got just tremendously buried, and they've basically been rallying since the middle of March. You know, whereas the other currencies had a bounce or they've trended, but they basically settled into consolidation patterns. The New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar have been rallying up until about the last week or so, and they've been kind of buffering on their highs. Now, the interesting thing is that they're trading somewhat in tandem, but they're not completely in tandem, meaning that the Aussie looks like it's more set up for a sideways to neutral trade, whereas the New Zealand dollar looks like it's heading more into a short-term, like under pressure trade, but maybe getting ready for a sideways to positive, a bullish move, you know. So if we have a divergence in there may be a trade set up there, you know, or if there's a radical sell-off. Now, that would be a key for dollar strength. If you were to see a major sell-off in the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, as those medium crosses start to lose momentum versus the dollar, especially on a big trend basis, then I think you could see a big support for the dollar. But once again, I'm not looking for the dollar to go, you know, go to parity against the Swiss or anything like that. I just think that in the short run, for the next couple of weeks and even the next couple of months, that the dollar has more of a likelihood of staying neutral to buffering resistance than really slamming support, especially if we do get a turn in the stock market.
Yeah, Teddy, what happens, like tomorrow, Friday we're closed. What happens in the currency market when we're closed on a Friday like that? Because I know it's not a holiday overseas. Does the currency slow down too?
Oh my gosh, and that's where like I said earlier,
when you started,
you got to be careful with these moves that you see on a day like today and tomorrow, because with the holidays market thinning out, it's just algos trading.
Right.
Like, I mean, people are on vacation in the U.S. You know, granted, Europe is not, and Asia don't celebrate the 4th of July, but it's a Friday to begin with.
No, exactly.
You know, so.
Well, listen, man. Always a pleasure. You have a great July 4th. We'll talk to you basically next, what day is today? Wednesday, right?
Next Wednesday.
It's Prince Spaghetti Day in Boston.
That's right. That's right.
Love you, man. Have a great one.
Guys. You have a good one.
Stay right there, folks. Tommy and I come right back.